Okay, let's dive right into this fast-paced explainer all about the incredible, mind-bending biology happening inside you right this very second. You probably think you know yourself pretty well, right? I mean, it's your body. But the reality is, you are walking around in this absolute masterpiece of engineering that you barely even understand. Today, we're looking at the human body not as some static object, but as a completely dynamic, non-stop marvel.
So, ask yourself this. What is your body doing right now entirely without your permission? Well, it turns out, pretty much everything. Your body is basically a slow-motion factory. It is constantly rebuilding, editing, and recycling itself, completely under the radar. Most of this happens while you sleep, while you work, and even right now while you're just sitting here watching this explainer.
To truly grasp the sheer scale of what's happening just beneath your skin, we're going to count down from 10 to 1, pulling back the curtain on some of the most impossible-sounding realities of human anatomy. Seriously, every single one of these facts is going to change how you view your own physical existence. Let's get into it.
Starting off at number 10, we're diving straight into the center of your digestive system.
Okay, so your stomach actually eats itself. And no, I don't mean that metaphorically. Right now, the acid sitting inside your stomach is so corrosive, it's strong enough to dissolve a metal razor blade over the course of a single day. It is way more than strong enough to digest the very organ that's holding it, so why doesn't it? Well, your stomach lining completely replaces itself every 3 to 4 days. It is literally rebuilding its own walls faster than the acid can break them down.
It's like having a permanent demolition crew fighting a permanent construction crew inside you. And when that balance tips, that's when you get an ulcer. Now, for decades, doctors thought ulcers were just caused by stress. But in 1984, a doctor named Barry Marshall got so incredibly frustrated with being ignored about this, he actually drank a beaker of bacteria himself, gave himself an ulcer on purpose, and proved that a specific bacterium called H. pylori was the real culprit. The guy actually won a Nobel Prize for doing that. Your gut has been staging this epic war since before you were born, and you rarely feel a single battle.
Moving right along to number 9, let's talk about how your height is actually just an illusion. Get this, you are actually taller in the morning than at night, by almost half an inch. It's all because the cartilage discs between your spinal vertebrae act exactly like little sponges. When you lie down for 8 hours to sleep, they soak up fluid, which physically pushes your bones apart. But the second you stand up and go about your day, gravity spends hours just squeezing that fluid right back out.
Take this to the extreme, and astronauts feel this exact effect in overdrive. Without Earth's gravity constantly compressing them, an astronaut's spine stretches out so much that some actually return from months in orbit a full 2 inches taller, which basically proves that you, sitting here on Earth, are being slowly compressed every single day of your life.
Hitting number 8, we find out your skeleton is kind of an imposter.
You probably think of your bones as this solid, permanent architecture, right? Well, instead, specialized cells called osteoclasts are constantly dissolving your old bone tissue, while these other cells, osteoblasts, lay down brand new material right behind them, literally atom by atom. Because of this endless cycle, your entire skeleton is rebuilt from scratch roughly every 10 years. The skeleton holding you up right now is completely different from the one you had a decade ago. It actually relies on the physical stress of gravity to know exactly where to rebuild itself. That is exactly why astronauts lose bone density so fast in zero gravity. Without a load, there's no signal to rebuild. So yeah, that teenage skeleton you once had, it's physically gone forever.
At number 7, we're looking at the one organ that treats being literally cut in half as just a minor inconvenience.
You could actually survive with just a 25% fragment of your liver. It's the only organ in your body that can regrow to full size from a tiny little piece. Surgeons actually routinely take more than half of a living donor's liver for a transplant, and within a few short months, both halves grow back into complete, functioning organs. Scientists think this mind-blowing regenerative trick is an ancient evolutionary adaptation born from the liver's constant, heavy-duty job of filtering out toxins from everything we eat and drink.
Number 6 reveals a literal glitch right in the middle of your vision.
Right where your optic nerve connects to your retina, there are absolutely no light-sensing cells. None. This means every single one of us has a small, completely blind hole in our vision, in both eyes, all the time. But I bet you've never actually seen it. Why? Because your brain is actively editing reality in real time to hide its own blind spot. It just quietly paints over the hole using the patterns of whatever happens to be surrounding it.
It doesn't tell you it's guessing, it just hands you a finished picture and lets you believe you saw the whole thing. It is doing it right now while you watch this explainer. Wild, right?
Down to number 5, where a sad song triggers an ancient ghost. Goosebumps are essentially this weird leftover reflex trying to puff up a coat of fur you lost hundreds of thousands of years ago. Tiny little muscles at the base of every hair follicle contract when you're cold or startled. Now, in a furry ancestor, this trapped a layer of warm air, or puffed their body up to look bigger and scare a predator. The fur is long gone, but that biological wiring, it never got deleted. So every time a beautiful, sad song gives you the chills, some ancient piece of your nervous system is still desperately trying to protect an animal that no longer exists.
For number 4, we're exploring the alien intelligence living right in your abdomen.
Your gut actually has its very own independent nervous system, called the enteric nervous system. With around 500 million neurons, your gut literally has as many neurons as a cat's brain. It coordinates your digestion entirely on its own, without needing a single signal from your head. On top of that, this second brain produces the vast majority of your body's serotonin. This is exactly why anxiety and stress hit you as physical knots in your stomach. So next time you say you have a gut feeling, you are actually being biologically precise. Speeding into number 3, let's take a look at the sheer scale of your internal manufacturing. Your body makes roughly 250 billion new blood cells every single day. I mean, just try to wrap your head around that scale. Inside the soft marrow of your bones, you are manufacturing more than 30 times the entire human population in blood cells before you've even finished your morning coffee. Meanwhile, each red blood cell lives for about 4 months before your spleen continuously strips them down for parts, recycling the raw materials right back to the marrow. You are a slow-motion factory that literally never shuts down, not for a single second.
That number 2, we just have to admit that you have never once been traveling alone.
For a long time, scientists thought bacteria outnumbered our own cells 10 to 1. New research puts it closer to a 1-to-1 ratio. But even with that, the sheer mass of microorganisms hitching a ride, mostly in your gut, actually outweighs your own brain. And these guys aren't invaders. This borrowed ecosystem inside you is quietly manufacturing vitamins your own cells can't make. They're training your immune system, and they even influence what foods you crave. The line between where you end and they begin is entirely blurred.
Let's slow things down a bit for number 1, the most profound biological reality of all.
Every single atom in your body is millions of years older than the human species itself. The calcium in those newly rebuilt bones of yours, the carbon in your muscles, the iron in those billions of blood cells circulating right now, none of it was made on Earth. It is all ancient stardust, forged inside the super hot cores of dying stars and flung across the galaxy in massive supernova explosions. Your body just continuously recycles this same ancient stardust as old cells die and new ones form from the food you eat.
And that brings us to the end of our countdown. The staggering, undeniable truth is that you are quite literally a recycled universe, constantly under construction, without your permission or even your notice. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final awe-inspiring thought to ponder today. Given the incredible cosmic journey of these elements, whose ancient atoms are you borrowing right now, and where in the universe will they go next?